Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carrie, and this is the channel where I share anything and everything that happens on my journey from a mom to midwife. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I am so glad to be back on here. Starting school has literally turned our lives upside down, and not in a bad way. It's just been completely different, and it's been a huge adjustment. But I think we're kind of sailing right on into that, and we're finally all kind of settling in and, getting used to the amount of hours that it takes for me to do my classes and study and all that stuff. It's been crazy, but it hasn't been bad. So for starters, I am really enjoying school. I didn't think I would. I'm on my third week now. This first quarter is 10 weeks and I'm on the third week of that 10-week quarter. So I have my first exam and my first big paper due this week. I have been turning in small little quizzes and papers, but these two are like the first big things that I have this week. So I'm going to have to really work hard this week to make sure that I get those done, and I'm going to really work hard to study for the exam. I'm nervous. I don't know why, because I've done okay. I've actually done really great on all of the other work that I've turned in and quizzes and stuff that I've done, but it always makes you nervous. The exam is the one that you can't do open book, I am nervous, but I know that I've got this. So I'm going to work really hard this week, and by next Tuesday I have to have my exam done. So I'm going to plan on doing it this weekend, I think, if I can study and work really hard. And that's for my medical terminology class that's due. So I am actually really, really enjoying that class. I honestly thought that I would hate it because it's a lot of memorization, but I did not realize how much of that stuff that I actually know already. And it kind of reiterates the stuff that I struggled with in my anatomy class. So I can see the benefit that this class is going to have once I get into my nursing school, or I start my medical classes like the anatomy and physiology and the chemistry and stuff like that. I can totally see the benefit this class is going to have because it is helping me to understand and break down terms. So when they say a disease or a function or, anything like that, I can break it down and know exactly what it means, which for me helps me understand things. I have to see the big picture, but I also have to see all the different moving parts in order to understand it. And so this class is really helping me get down to the nitty-gritty of what things are and how they work. Originally, I was like, why do I'm going to learn all this stuff when I take a medical class or whatever. But yeah, I can totally see why this class is a requirement, and I think it's a really important class. You just have to start from the basics, and the basics is just learning how to break down your medical terms, because there's no way in the world, I don't care who you are, if you're a doctor who's gone to school for years, there's no way you know everything. There's no way you can memorize everything. So having the ability to break down the medical terms and be able to figure out approximately at least what they mean is so important, because you could go talk to somebody that's a patient that has something that you've never even dealt with before, and they could say, this is what I have. And how would it look on you if you were like, I don't know what that means? But if you understand the word root and the prefix and the suffix, then you'll know exactly what it means, because there's basically a limited number of those, and they all get put together in different combinations to make up our medical terms. So it has been really cool. I actually really like words, so that's another reason that I love this class, but it has been really cool seeing kind of the process that we are going to go through to understand our medical knowledge in the future. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm hoping and praying that I do well on this exam, but there's always that little bit of nervous because it's literally the first exam that I have done since 5 years ago when I miserably failed. So yeah, there's just a little bit of a nervous side to this, but I think it's going to be okay. I feel a lot more prepared for this exam than I did 5 years ago or at any point during that entire class. So And I think it's because I've had the time to actually sit and work on it, and I've really focused really hard on learning the content. My other classes that I'm working on, I have an English class, so I have a paper due for that. I have to write a narrative about my future career. It's the first draft that's due. I'm not too nervous about that because it's a first draft, and first drafts are always horrible. So, and that's when you get your constructive criticism, and then you can revise it to make it what you want it to be. Even though it's kind of a bit, the first big step for that class, I have gotten really good feedback for all the other stuff that I've turned in. And so I'm hoping that that will carry over into the narrative, but we'll see. The other class that I have is college management, and it is basically been a breeze. I don't know that class is so much based off of getting a good grade. Like, they have had us turn in some small paragraphs and stuff, but it's mostly about being an adult, and managing your time. And I mean, we did do some stuff on like plagiarism and like stuff like that, just general like common sense stuff that you should know. I understand that this class is important because most people do not understand and know most of the information because they didn't grow up being taught that. But for me, it's kind of redundancy. So I am doing fairly well in that class, which makes me happy because it's kind of just like a class that I have to do, and I'd rather get a good grade than, even though it's kind of redundant. So that class is on its third week, and then I only have 2 more weeks left in that, and then that falls off, and I have another class that comes on. Overall, everything's going great. I am planning on talking a little bit more, maybe going a little bit more in depth about each one of my classes on here. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below because I would love to address information that you actually want to know. I look forward to talking to you next week. See you later.